Hi, my name's Luke, and today I want to show you 15 games that work wonderfully in an English as a second language classroom. I've personally used the vast majority of these games in an adult English class or in situations where we're playing games or having discussions across language boundaries. The few of these items on the list that I haven't used in a classroom, I've at least played enough that I would feel comfortable using them in class. There are numerous other games that I'm sure work well in a classroom or a teaching setting, but this list is from my personal experience, so feel free to add your own suggestions or experiences in the comments below. I've divided this video into 5 rough levels of English proficiency: basic, high basic, intermediate, high intermediate, and advanced or conversational level, and will be presenting the list of games in this order as well. Many of these games may be introduced at one level with significant teacher preparation and modification required, then used at higher levels with different vocabulary cards incorporated or less teacher preparation required. In the description below, I've provided links to all the games mentioned, but many of them can be recreated with classroom-specific materials, as long as you know how to play the base games. I'll try to point out throughout the video when classroom supplies may replace game components for more integration with lesson-based vocabulary or concepts. Let's just get to the list, shall we? When first beginning the English language learning process, you'll typically start with learning some limited vocabulary, such as greetings and canned phrases. But soon after that, you'll start introducing basic vocabulary, like numbers and colors. For color practice, some children's games, like Candyland, are geared for color recognition for kids, but can also be used with great effect for color vocabulary practice with English language learners. Simply include the idea that you need to say the name of the color when you draw the card for your turn. Once vocabulary includes numbers, Uno makes a fabulous practice for colors and numbers, as each player says the name of the color and number as they place the card. Red 7, blue 7, blue 4, etc. To simplify things, leave out the skip and reverse cards the first time you play the game, but definitely leave in the wilds and the draw 2 cards, since they are cause for a lot of laughter. For more varied numbered practice, here are several more games that I'd recommend. In each of these games, when a student rolls a number or plays a card, have them say that number. If it's a game like Farkle, you can also have them add their score to their total and read that out loud as well. I've taught Farkle to people from more countries than any other game, I think, and it always goes over well. If you're playing with a large group, though, you'll want to have the final goal score be pretty low, so students don't get bored waiting on other players. Once students gain some vocabulary to work with, using a game like Spot It can give a great opportunity to use some of those new words and get them at the front of their mind for easier recall. Spot It is a game all about matching and word recognition, where 2 students each flip over a card, and the student who correctly shouts out the item that can be found on both cards wins those cards. Now, before you play, you'll want to present a few of these cards to the students to review the various icons on the cards, as many of them will be newer words. This game works especially well when you have a day when there isn't a large number of students in the class, since it can get a little loud. One of the more obvious games on the list of games to use in an English as a second language classroom is Scrabble. In higher basic level classes, letters can be used in an open pool, so students aren't limited to only the letters in their personal collection. These letter tiles can be used with or without the Scrabble board for spelling practice and vocabulary learning. In my personal opinion, Upwards is an even better version of that game, since letters are made to stack on top of each other. This can help reinforce rhyming words, or words with only 1 or 2 letters changed between them, like changing cat to hat, and then to chat, and then to chair. I spy. We've all played I Spy with My Little Eye when trying to entertain ourselves in the car on trips, but it also works well for English class. I would take my students outside the building, and we would just look around outside and try to find something. You don't have to use the I spy phrase if you'd rather practice more normal English. You can say, I see something that is red. Then all the other students start shouting out red color things that they see. When someone gets it right, that student can take their turn being the person spying with their little eyes. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great start of class activity to play as we wait for stragglers to show up for class. In all honesty, this is my favorite level to use games in the classroom. At the intermediate level, students can make complete sentences and start asking questions and receiving answers. Listening proficiency is a key focus at this level, so games with more talking are able to be used starting at the intermediate levels. Guess who? This game requires asking a lot of questions, answering a lot of questions, and understanding the answers that the other player gives to you. This makes it phenomenal as a classroom tool. There are some alternative versions, such as this one here, that have more than just humans on the cards, so it can be used for a different set of questions than the base box. Another great question game is Headbands. Players each have a card with a picture of an object placed on their forehead in a way that they can't see the card, but other people can. Students ask questions to the other students to try to figure out what picture they have on their head. This is one of the games that I would recommend using any flashcards, especially picture flashcards that you have available, instead of just the cards from the game box. I'll leave a couple of links in the description for some card sets, but feel free to use whatever you have in the classroom already. Taboo. This game and similar games have a basic concept that one person is trying to get another person or group of people to say a word or phrase on their card without the first person saying that word. This works perfectly as one of my favorite classroom activities to use in English class. Though with higher level students, you might want to use the real game. For intermediate level classes, this concept works perfectly for classroom vocabulary. The reader might have a flashcard, like I mentioned with the previous game, and they need to get their teammate to guess what it is on the card. It's part of your house. It has a chair and a sofa. I watch TV here. Their partner says living room and gets a point for their team. My preferred method to use this game is to have one person reading a card, then talking to the other person who has to listen, then write their answer. After they get it right, they switch. By doing this, after each student got a turn, they've practiced reading, writing, speaking, and listening, all while having fun. Feel free to have several listeners who are all trying to write out their answer first, to include more students in the game at the same time. Two major features of the high intermediate stage are the ability to tell stories creatively and being able to talk about a wider range of topics. For this reason, the things in the list at this level serve more as prompts than true games, though they're still a lot of fun. A lot of people have heard of Rory's story cubes. They have various sets that you can use. You'll roll the dice, then make a story that includes as many of the pictures on the dice as you can. A similar concept that I've really enjoyed using is this deck of cards called Storyteller cards, made by Jason Tagmeyer. This one isn't on Amazon, but again, I'll put a link to the item in the description if you'd like to check it out. Story cards are a set of playing cards with numerous story prompts on each card. On each card, there is a person in a place with an item doing an action. There's an emotion There's a season, there's a rank and a suit, and there's a letter. Now, technically, you could use this at lower levels, but it might take some extra planning on the teacher's part to make sure something on the card is identifiable by the student. At the high intermediate level, though, they've got enough vocabulary that they can make up a story that includes a lot more items from the card in their story. If a student is having trouble, just have them tell you some of the things on the card. They're super versatile and can be used in a classroom or just something to have fun with. There are several games that have you list items in various categories. Name 5, and for more advanced students, categories, has cards that tell a category where you need to list 5 things that fit in that category. This will take more before class teacher prep time to sort the cards into those that your student will likely be able to answer and those that your student might not be able to, since it wouldn't be much practice if the students don't understand the question. Other games, such as Life Stories, have cards with questions of all types that are great conversation prompts. Again, this will take some teacher prep time before class to sort cards into various difficulty levels. Life Stories and other games like this get even better as students' levels of English improve. Now, technically, there's a board with Life Stories and Name 5, but I threw them out a long time ago, and I just use the cards for the conversation prompts. For the more advanced students, there are a number of great games that can be played as is that work as wonderful practice putting their vocabulary skills to good use. These are often party-style games that can be used in an end-of-semester party or a super fun game day in class. Any of these games are also wonderful to play as games between English learners and native English speakers, since they're regular games already. The first game on the list is Say Anything. In this game, one person reads a question from a card and all the other players have to write what they believe the reader's answer to that question would be. Then, all of the players, except the reader, places tokens voting on which answer they think will be correct. The reader reveals which answer they thought was the best, and the writer of that answer, as well as anyone who voted on that answer, gets a point. Then, a new player becomes the reader. After a set number of turns, the player with the most points wins. Codenames is a spy-themed game where a grid of words is spread across the table, and a couple spy masters are trying to get their teams to choose a specific word cards by giving one-word clues. The spy masters have a map card that tells which word they need to get their teams to choose, but there's a twist. Some of the word cards are trapped. Some of them are marked as a goal for one team, some marked for the other team, and only the spy masters know which cards are which. If your team finds all of your team's words before the other team, you win. But if your team picks a trapped word card, your team has lost and the other side wins. I've left this list, along with links, in the description of this video, but I'm 100% sure that there are a lot of games that I haven't tried that would work wonders in a classroom. I'd really appreciate if you'd leave your ideas in the comments so that we can all make our classes better and more fun. I look forward to seeing your suggestions. If you have questions about specific games from this list, please reach out in the comments. I'll do my best to help out. Meanwhile, thanks for joining us, and have a nice day.